I showed up to my daughter's graduation party in a good mood. Madison had just turned 18. She graduated high school and received a full scholarship to college. I was incredibly proud of her. Her mother, Lauren, and I divorced when Madison was 7, but I had always been present in her life. We had agreed on joint custody. I visited every other weekend and we'd have dinner together every Wednesday. I never missed a single child support payment and always helped out. I paid for her car insurance, dance lessons, phone bill, school trips. When Madison decided she wanted to study photography, I paid for an expensive course and bought her a professional laptop. On top of all that, I'd been saving for her college education for 18 years. The account had $91,000 in it. When Lauren married a guy named Brad, I didn't object. I thought it might actually be good for Madison to live with 2 adults. Brad works in insurance, constantly brags on social media, and pretends he's a hotshot businessman. In reality, he burns through money faster than he earns it. For graduation, Lauren organized a big party in their backyard. There were a lot of guests. I brought a gift, a professional camera, because Madison dreamed of studying photography. Everything was going smoothly until Brad stepped out to the center of the yard and began a speech. He said how proud he was of Madison and how lucky he felt to be her stepdad. Then he pulled out a set of keys and said, "Madison, these are the keys to your new Honda Civic. It's yours." Everyone clapped. Madison ran up, hugged Brad, and then said loudly, "My stepdad bought me a car." My real dad? He's never done anything for me. I smiled, said nothing, and simply walked away. The next morning, I transferred the college fund back into my personal investment account. The car, which had been registered in my name, was repossessed that same day. Ever since, Lauren hasn't stopped calling me. Madison was beaming, everyone was applauding, supporting her. I clapped too. I was a bit upset that Brad didn't tell me in advance about such an expensive gift, but fine, Madison deserved it. Then she took the microphone. "Thank you, Brad," she said, her voice echoing through the yard. "When I was younger, I often wondered what it would be like to have a father who really cared about me. At first, I thought she was just emotional. But soon I started feeling uneasy. Someone who'd do something big for me. Someone who'd show me I mattered," she continued, clutching the keys, then looked directly at me. "My stepdad bought me a car. My real dad has never done anything for me. Now I know what it feels like when someone truly invests in your future." The yard went silent. People froze. About 5 guests were looking from me to Madison, not saying a word. My cousin Jason looked like he was about to throw a beer can at someone. Other parents lowered their eyes awkwardly. It got really uncomfortable. But Madison kept going. "I just want to thank Brad for being the father I never had. He takes care of me, supports me. That means so much." She handed the microphone back to Brad, who stood there smugly smiling. Lauren, my ex-wife, didn't even look at me. She just stared at the ground. And that's when everything clicked. Brad had been feeding Madison this narrative for a year, that he was her real parent and I was just some guy who popped in now and then. And it worked. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, letting her words sink in. My daughter had just declared in front of everyone that I was nothing to her, not a father, not even someone who contributed to her life. I could have made a scene, shouted about how much money and energy I had invested in her, reminded them of the education fund, the insurance, the phone, the laptop, the photography classes, the travel expenses, everything. But I didn't. I simply walked over, hugged her, and said, "Congratulations, sweetie. I'm so proud of you." Then I got in my car and left, no yelling, no drama, no spectacle. The entire drive home, I kept thinking about what she'd said. About how Brad was investing in her future and taking care of her, and how supposedly I wasn't. When I got home, I sat down at my computer and started taking action. The college fund was in my name under a 529 plan. That meant I had full control over the money. I had always planned to use it for Madison's education, but legally it was mine. I called the insurance company and removed Madison from my plan effective at the end of the month. I called my phone carrier and canceled her line under my account for the same date. If Brad is her real dad now, then let him handle the everyday expenses too. On Monday morning, I transferred the remaining balance, $91,437, from the college account to my personal investment portfolio. Then I decided to dig into the car situation a little. Something about Brad's extravagant gift didn't sit right with me. After a bit of research, I found out the truth. Brad hadn't bought the car at all. He took out a loan with Madison listed as the primary borrower and himself as the cosigner. The monthly payment? $340. Madison doesn't have a job or any income to cover that. It looked like Brad planned to cover the first few payments until she got a part-time job. But the bank had asked for proof that she could cover the loan in the future. And here's the kicker: on the loan application, the income guarantor listed was me. Brad had used my income and my credit history to get the loan approved, all without my knowledge or consent. When the bank called to verify, I told them the truth. I'm not paying for that car. I'm not helping with this loan. I never agreed to it. That got the bank's attention. From their perspective, an 18-year-old girl with no job and no family support was a huge risk. They started asking Brad for proof of his financial stability. Apparently, Brad promised he'd make payments for a while, but when the bank requested documentation, everything fell apart. Turned out Brad was already drowning in debt. He was living way beyond his means. A few weeks later, the car was repossessed. The bank gave him a choice: pay off the full loan or return the car. Since Brad couldn't prove he could pay, they took it back. That day, Lauren called me in a fury. Madison's car was repossessed. The bank said you refused to support her. That's right, I replied calmly. Madison made it clear Brad is her real father now. He's the one investing in her future. So let him handle it. Lauren screamed into the phone. You're being ridiculous. She's only 18. She just said that out of anger. It wasn't just in the heat of the moment. No, Lauren, it wasn't. She planned it. She looked me right in the eyes and said in front of 50 people that I had done nothing for her. That Brad was her real father. Well, now he gets to be her father, for real. There was a long pause. Then Lauren asked quietly, what about the college fund? The scholarship doesn't cover everything. Let Brad handle it. He's the father now. Remember? She hung up. Then the calls started rolling in. And eventually Brad called me, furious. What the hell did you say to the bank? The truth, I replied. Madison has a new dad now. Let him pay for her expenses. I never said I was trying to replace you, Brad argued. No, I said. You didn't say it. You just let her say it. While I stood there smiling, swallowing it all. Look, I can't keep up with the car payments forever, he admitted. I was hoping Madison would find a part-time job and start paying them herself. Then you shouldn't have taken out a loan you couldn't afford, I told him. What about the college money? He asked. She still needs that. That's my money, I said. I was going to give it to Madison, until she stood up and made it clear to everyone that I've never done anything for her. So why would I now? This is insane, Brad said. You're punishing a kid just for thanking her stepdad. I'm not punishing anyone, I said calmly. I'm simply letting you be the father she always dreamed of. You wanted the title, now carry the weight. Brad hung up. The next day, Madison called me. She was crying. Dad, why did you take back my college money? Madison, you're 18. At your graduation party, you told everyone Brad is your real dad. That he's the one who supported you and invested in your future. That I was nothing. I didn't mean it like that. Then what did you mean? I asked. You were looking right at me when you said it. Not at your mom. Not at Brad. At me. You wanted me to hear every word. I was just excited about the car. The car that's already been repossessed because Brad couldn't actually afford it. Madison went quiet. Do you understand what happened? I asked. He made a grand gesture with money he didn't have. Used my financial profile to get the loan approved and then stood by while you humiliated me in front of everyone. And now that the consequences are here, he can't do anything. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't mean to hurt you. It's not about hurt, Madison. It's about choices. You made a choice about who your father is. Now live with that choice. What about college? She asked. What about it? Will you help? Let Brad figure it out. He's your dad now, right? She hung up. The next week things got even messier. One of her friends started posting on social media about what a terrible father I was, how I had abandoned my daughter. But my cousin Jason, the one who was at the party, commented with the full story. He wrote about how Madison had stared right at me while making that speech, that it was all deliberate. That Friday night, Lauren called again. Madison's working at a diner, taking double shifts. She's trying to save up for college. That's good, I said. She's learning responsibility. Brad says he can help cover some of the costs, she added. How much can he cover? I asked. He thinks he can pay for textbooks and supplies. So, the man who invests in her future can maybe scrape together a couple $1,000s? He's doing what he can, Lauren said. Lauren, I cut in. I saved over $90,000 for Madison. And Brad? He can maybe cover textbooks. You see the difference. She made a mistake, Lauren began. And now she's learning that mistakes come with consequences, I replied. On Saturday, Brad called again. His tone wasn't angry anymore, it was panicked and desperate. Listen, he said, maybe we can figure something out. Madison's really struggling with money for college right now. Brad, I said, you stood up at that party and said you were investing in her future. You gave her a car to prove it. Well, now invest. But I don't have $90,000, he shouted. Then why did you convince her you were better than her real father? I never said that. You didn't have to. You just let her believe it while you stood there soaking up the applause. Come on, man. Don't punish Madison just because this whole thing spun out of control. I'm not punishing her. I'm holding her accountable for her words. She chose you as her father. Now you be her father. He hung up. The next Sunday, Madison showed up at my house. She looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept well in days and had been working nonstop. Dad, can we talk? Come in, I said. We sat in the living room. She immediately started crying. I messed everything up, she said. I said things I shouldn't have. I'm not angry, Madison, I told her. I'm just disappointed. Then why won't you help me with college? Because you made a choice, I replied. You told everyone I never did anything for you and now you want me to keep paying for everything? That's not how it works. You can't publicly reject me as a father and then expect private support on the side. But I need help, she whispered. Then let Brad help you. He can't, she said quietly. Madison, tell me something. How much money do you think I've spent on you over the years? I don't know. Child support, insurance, phone bills, school, clubs, travel, college prep. I'd estimate about $200,000. And Brad? He bought you a car he couldn't afford and it got repossessed. See the difference? Madison stayed quiet for a long time. Then she asked, did I really ruin everything? Yes, Madison. You did. Can I fix it somehow? You didn't just hurt my feelings. You humiliated me in front of our family, our friends, and our neighbors. You said I meant nothing to you. Do you have any idea how painful that was? I'm sorry. I know. Apologies don't erase what happened. You let Brad turn you against me. And now? And now what? She asked softly. And now you'll have to figure out how to pay for college on your own. You picked your father. Let him step up. But he can't do the things you did. And that's exactly what you should have considered before standing up and calling me a nobody. Madison didn't argue. She just stood up and walked out head down, broken. 3 weeks passed and things started to shift. Madison got a full-time job at a restaurant. She applied for extra student loans to cover housing and daily expenses. She also enrolled in a work-study program to help manage costs. As for Brad, surprisingly, his name completely vanished from conversations about college expenses. Turns out Brad's investment in her future was limited to flashy gestures he couldn't actually afford. Lauren still calls me every few days, mostly to scold me for letting Madison struggle. But yesterday her tone changed. Madison realizes she made a mistake, Lauren said. She admits she was wrong. Isn't that enough? No, Lauren. This isn't about teaching a lesson or punishing her. This is about choices. Madison chose Brad as her father. So now Brad should be the one figuring out how to support her. But he can't give her what you can, Lauren said. Exactly, I replied. That's why she should have thought twice before publicly disowning me. Honestly, I do feel sorry that she's in this situation. But she's 18, she's an adult now. She made the decision to publicly humiliate me. And now she has to deal with the consequences like an adult. Madison wanted Brad to be her father. That means he's the one who should find a way to pay for college. I'm not going to be the safety net for someone who stood in front of a crowd and said I was never there for her. I have $91,000 that I saved for Madison's future. Now, I'm seriously considering buying that fishing boat I've always dreamed of, or maybe investing it and retiring early. Either way, the choice was made the night of that graduation party. And now Madison will have to live with it.